Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming out and checking out our group project, Muse Networking. Before we get into that project, I wanted to take a step back and talk about how we organized the project and how we spent our time making sure that we were able to produce a product by the end of the sprint. And so we would try to replicate how we would actually work in a real world environment. In order to do that, we first started by creating a Jira project and organized all of our work and user stories, tasks, all in Jira. And then from there, the lead engineers would assign those tasks to anyone and then move them around to in progress, completed, stuck, based on where it was at any given point. And from there, we would try to communicate daily, not just try, but actually succeed and communicate daily. And not just daily, but 2 to 3 times. Usually we would have a daily, 2 to 3 times we would have a stand up. And from there, we would talk about what's happening, any feedback that we need from someone else, any work that we're stuck on because we're waiting on the back end work or the back end's waiting on the front end and such, so that we could break through those and continue on the project. So without further ado, I will introduce you to Anne, who is our lead designer, and she will take you through the project itself.
Hi, my name is Anne, and I was the designer for Muse. Welcome to Muse. Muse is a virtual networking application that allows the user to attend virtual events and engage in conversation with other developers. The point of Muse is to get you into the community and get you engaging with developers in the community so that you can become inspired and take away inspiration, and almost like it's a muse, hence the name. Next, I'm going to click into one of these events and pass it off to Spalding, who's going to show you the login page.
Hi, I'm Spalding, and I was the backend lead for this project. So now we're going to be joining an event. So right here, we're at the Join Project Shift Meetup page. I can put in my name, my role, and join. And here you can see that there's a general conversation already, but it's got 0 users. So if I join that, I'm now the only user. I can send a message, but no one's gonna be able to see it. So maybe we'll try to join an event with more people in it. So I can go back to the events page, and here I can see in the programmers event C page, there are 3 people in that conversation. So that looks like it'll be a little bit more fun. So we'll try clicking on that. I can log in again. And here we can see the page for that event with 3 users in the general conversation. And now I'll be passing it off to Pierre, who's the front-end lead.
Hey everyone, my name is Pierre and I was the front-end lead for Muse. And I wanted to show you joining a conversation where there are people already in that conversation. So it looks like there's already 3 people here in general. So I'm going to join that one and say hi. Hopefully somebody sees my message. Oh, look, Anne's typing. She's responding back to me. And the other people in the room are also responding back. How cool is that? I'm going to respond. I can also join multiple conversations. So I'm going to join junior developers and maybe somebody will join me there. Oh, nice. It seems like as soon as somebody notices that I'm joining, they might join too. So I'm going to create a new conversation just in case I wanted to try something out different. So let's make it called Tips on Redux. Start that conversation. I'm going to try to join it. You'll see that it actually won't let me initially because I've already joined these 2 conversations. So I'm going to close junior developers and join Tips on Redux. And maybe somebody will join me there. Great. You can see that this is getting really popular. It's rising to the top because there's 3 users. Oh, look, there's a new conversation. I wonder who started that. Let me close Tips on Redux and join Vanilla JavaScript. Oh, it must have been Anne, she's typing. So as you can see, we can have multiple conversations going at the same time. And just like a real virtual networking event, you can see which conversations are popular and join those as soon as you see them. That's the functionality of the chat app. And now I want to pass it back to Matt where we can start some of our retrospective about what we learned during the cohort project.
All right, everyone. Thank you for taking a look at our project. So like I said in the introduction, we tried to replicate what it would be like to work in a real world environment. And we organized our project in this 1-week sprint. And in order to do that in an effective manner, the first thing that we did was set up our mock design wireframes, which Anne took the lead on. So I'll let Anne talk a little bit about that. Tell us about that, Anne.
Yeah, I created the mock-ups and the wireframes for the project, and it was really cool to see the front-end developers take that and start building out functionality that matched the vibe of the app, the visual direction. That was really neat. Back to you, Matt.
Yeah, and so based on those front-end designs, Pierre, do you want to talk about how those wireframes were used in the front end?
Yeah, it was a great process as front end lead to see people really jump in quickly. I was very happy that we had a process based on Anne's wireframes that we could look at those mocks, figure out which components that we had, and immediately start delegating tasks. And that worked really well for us and showed the ability of starting early in the process with planning and with working together to figure out the direction first. And then we went our separate ways to make sure that the collaboration, we wouldn't be stepping on one another's toes later on. Of course, there were ups and downs later on in the process of expecting one thing to work and it didn't, or it broke something else. That just comes with designing something together. But Anne's work initially, plus the collaboration later on, eventually smoothed all of those issues. So overall, it was a great experience as front end lead.
Yeah, and Balding, do you want to talk about the back end and how we were able to collaborate and some of the challenges that you faced on the back end as well in your team?
Sure. Yeah, so for the back end, we back end and front end, we used Socket.io for some of our connections, and that kind of blurred the lines a little bit between the back end and front end teams. So we kind of had a dedicated group consisting of Joanna, Danielle, and Christina, who were really handling a lot of the Socket implementation for that side of things. But overall, just being able to use Jira and sticking to the Agile environment was really helpful. During the times which we didn't use Jira as much, maybe towards the beginning, I wasn't as good about it. And I definitely saw that once we, kept the ball rolling on that, it helped us stay organized, knowing what people were working on and being able to communicate without interrupting people's workflow.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned Joanna, Danielle, and Christina, but the work that they did was absolutely integral to the success of the project. They had no knowledge of Socket.io before that, and you saw what the result was at the end. It was amazing work.
Yeah, I also think it's like a reflection of everybody in the cohort, that everybody, in my understanding of it, really contributed their best, right? So we talked about those three, but there was no person who was not really pulling their weight. I think that's just a testament to the people in this whole group, not just the people that you're seeing on screen right now.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening.